Every once in a while, life gives you a wonderful surprise. My surprise this morning was that I came down to the office to record week 6 of my Valencia Marathon Training block. Lo and behold, I've just finished week 7. Welcome to PKSRUNS. So, welcome back everybody. My name is Paul, this is PKSRUNS. We have just finished week 7, not week 6, of my Valencia Marathon Training, and I have been recording my journey over the last 6 weeks. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. Watch this video all the way to the end because the algorithm absolutely loves that. I don't care if you don't even watch it. Just stick it on in the background, stick it in another tab whilst you're working, and you can just leave that running. It would help me enormously. Purpose of this video is to go through this week's training, to look at what worked, what hasn't worked. It's currently Sunday. I did my long run yesterday. I have done the bulk of the work this week, and I've done something a little bit different. So let's just dive straight into the data. Let's have a little look at the workouts that I've done, and then we will look at what week 8 looks like. A little bit of backstory for you. I ran the London Marathon earlier this year. I actually got a bolt through my carbon plate. Unbelievable. That really messed with my race. I cramped, I cried, I went through a world of pain. I actually finished in 3:15, which is pretty respectable. I was aiming for 2:40. I'm aiming for 2:40 in Valencia. This is the comeback story. I ran 2:45.55 in Loch Ness last year, and I really think I've got 2:40 in me. At the start of this training block, it was very much let's wait and see how we get on. I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling fit, I'm feeling positive. So that is such a good place to be. Anyway, I said we'd get into the data. Let's get into the data. Top level overview is, at this point, I've done 127 kilometers. The reason that I'm working in kilometers, for those of you who are like, oh, why is he not talking about miles? You're in England. Well, Valencia is, everything is going to be in kilometers, and I don't want to have to do the translations on the fly. So somewhere back in the summer, I decided I was going to switch to kilometers, and if I'm honest, I find them so much easier to calculate my times, my paces, my predictions than I ever did with miles. So I'll stick with kilometers after Valencia is done. I kind of like it. I feel like I'm running faster as a result. Not really, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's have a look. I have got my training up here. Monday morning started in the gym, as it always does on a Monday, and then I got out for an easy Monday morning run, 16 kilometers or so. Then Tuesday was a session. Honestly, I can't even remember what I did on Tuesday. So what we will do is we will just open this run up and have a look at the data. And what did I do? Gosh, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Yes, okay, so let's have a look at the details. I did a 1.5k warm-up. I did 5k in 1946. I did a kilometer kind of float at 4:42. I did another 5k at 19:43. So not marathon pace, but fast sort of tempo pace. I then did, yes, this is all falling into place now. I then did about 3 kilometers of recovery, and then I did 10 45-second hill repeats. Average paces 3:52, 4:03, 4:05, 4:11, 4:13, 4:20, 4:15, 4:13, 4:07, 4:07. Again, none of those at marathon pace, but bearing in mind that I've just done 2 5Ks at a reasonable pace, let's just go into the actual laps and we'll be able to see the detail. So yeah, the pace for those 5Ks, averaging, I guess, around the 3:50 mark, which actually isn't far off the marathon pace. The second lot of the 5K is 3. Doesn't matter really, does it? Look, it's a little bit slower than marathon pace, but not far off. Then you've got these 45-second hill sprints, 16 meters worth of elevation in those. It's interesting looking at the gap pace, grade adjusted pace. So it basically takes into account the elevation, the steepness, and then works out what that would have been like if you were running those on the flat. I wasn't running on the flat, so it's kind of like a bit of a nonsense statistic. The overall summary of this is I was tired, I got a workout done, I got 2 sub 20 minute 5Ks, I then did 10 lots of hill repeats, bearing in mind that I'd done 17 kilometers on the Monday and I'd done my long run on the Sunday. So like my Tuesday workouts are always hard because I have gone straight through because I take my rest day on a Wednesday. So yeah, I feel pretty positive about this. Heart rate over here in these 5K segments, it's not blowing out of control. Let's have a little look at the best efforts. I don't think we really did the best efforts last week, so let's have a look at the best efforts. 1944 for a 5K, fastest kilometer was 3:49. Bearing in mind I am aiming for 3:47 is marathon pace. That will get me in just under 2:40. So 3:49, yeah, there or thereabouts. I wasn't aiming for marathon pace in this run. A half marathon there. Obviously, again, I wasn't aiming for a half marathon time, but 1:34, 10K, 40 minutes. So look, this is all really positive. Thursday morning, I got out and did some intervals again with Kaylee. Had a bit of a problem with my watch in that what we did was 3 kilometers-ish warm-up. We then did 4 lots of 20-second strides. Then, if I remember right, we did 2 blocks of 4 minutes. Then we did 3 blocks of 3 minutes, 4 blocks of 2 minutes, and then 5 blocks of 1 minute. In one of those blocks, I messed up the programming in my watch and only gave myself 1 second of recovery. So the data is going to be pretty skewed because I kept on having to pause my watch. The plan was that between each of those reps, we would have 1 minute of recovery time. The way that I set up those paces was for the 4-minute blocks, I was going for, I guess, half marathon pace. So between 3:30 and 3:40 per kilometer. And then I dropped those zones by 10 seconds. So by the time I got to the 5 by 1 minutes, I was aiming between 3 and 3:10 per kilometer. A brutal session. Let's get in and have a little look. In general, you can see average heart rate 142. The reason that is so average is that once we had finished the workout part of that, I then went on and did like another 12 kilometers at a super easy pace. So you can see the point at which the workout finished, and then I basically just cruised just to get some miles in because I was really keen to boost my miles across the week. And that actually reminds me, we're going to go back because I think on Tuesday I got out for a second run. I did double run recovery. I got out and did 9 kilometers in the evening on the Tuesday. I was hanging. I was absolutely hanging, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to get my volume up this week, and I wanted to try and get a really good base mileage in that first half of the week. I talked about that last week. So let's go back into the progressive intervals, and we will have a look at these laps and see how we got on. Not really interested in the strides, but you can see there 2:59, 3:08, 3:15, 3:30. Kind of realised that I was like, I don't really want to blow these out too much. So let's go across into Garmin and come back into activities, and we'll have a look at this in here and see if any of this makes sense. Let's have a look at the intervals. Yeah, this is much better. I've got first 4-minute block, average pace 3:31. Second block, 3:32. Absolutely perfect. I was aiming between 3:30 and 3:40. If anything, I'm possibly going a little bit too fast. Pacing is an issue for me, I'll be honest. I struggle with pacing. Then I have got these blocks here, which are these 3-minute blocks, where you can see these are all kinds of messed up. The timing is super off. and then we jump into, I think I've got a 3-minute block here at 3:26, 3:32, 3:32, so I'm struggling a little bit. We then go into these 2-minute blocks, 3:29, 3:58, 3:31, 3:37, and this is partly, I think this is possibly where I'm having timing issues all over the shop with this, if I'm honest. Then the final 1 minutes were 3:12, 3:22, 3:14, 3:20, 3:37, and then the cool down. Sorry if that was a little bit complicated to follow. It was needlessly complicated, but the positive thing is I was getting a good workout in. Again, over the total run, 25 kilometers. Let's just go back to here, have a look at some of the best efforts, see if any of these make any sense. So within that run, there was a 19:53 5K, bearing in mind, obviously, there's recovery running within that. There was a 1:43 half marathon. Wouldn't have expected that to be fast because at the end, I was going pretty slowly. So look, 3:29 kilometer there. This is all trending really, really well. Again, heart rate pretty much under control, peaking in the high 160s. So look, this is everything that I would want it to be. So Friday was then just easy miles. I think I did 17 or 18 miles on Friday. I was also in the gym on Friday morning. I did 17 kilometers. In actual fact, it was about 18 and a quarter. I paused my watch to stop and walk and film, and then I forgot to press start again. Dick move. Super unnecessary. Anyway, yesterday, you can see I've titled this one Hill Me Now. You might be able to guess what this was about. My plan going into yesterday was, the last few weeks I've done long runs with blocks of marathon pace in there, and they've been good, but they've been hard. They've left me super tired. And what I thought I would do is an all easy run. I would aim to try and keep my heart rate in the 140s, and I would just go and do a nice steady state flat run, and that was the plan. Plans change. I did my usual kind of loop of the estate where I live, and then down onto the canal, which is nice and flat. And I thought, do you know what? I'll just add a little bit of a hill, and then I'll duck back round, and then I'll just do a little bit of flat, and I'll carry on the flat, nice and easy. I got going up the hill, and I was like, it's only a short hill, and I thought, I really enjoy hills, and I don't get to do hills enough. So let me show you on this how this looks, because this was fun. These over here are the Quantock Hills. I live down here at sea level, and up here they are a couple of 100 meters above sea level. So if I go through my laps, you can see here that generally speaking, I do a bit of elevation in the first mile or first kilometer, then a little bit downhill, a little bit of flat, and then at kilometer 10, we actually start, it's kilometer 8, we start climbing. So 13 meters of elevation, 2 meters of elevation, 8 meters, 11 meters, 49 meters, 9, 11, 42, 5, 46. And I get a temporary respite here where I think, oh good, that's the end of it. And then there's more. And then from here you can see I then go all the way down. What is amazing about this run is that you can see that my actual pace is pretty decent. I mean, pace versus heart rate, you can see I'm blowing out a little bit here. It makes it look on the elevation chart here that it's super steep. It obviously isn't as steep as that, but you can see here I got as high as 265 meters above sea level. The entire run was 470 meters. So I did almost a marathon with a serious amount of hills. My heart rate was average 144. Remember I said I wanted it to be between 140 and 150. My average pace for the entire run was 4:44. Now, I didn't go crazy going down the hills because these are tiny little country lanes and they're covered in leaves and a little bit slippery, and at this point I do not want to break my ankle. So it's given me a gap pace average of 4:36. I think I came through the half marathon stage about 1:40. So considering that over half of it was literally uphill, I'm super happy with that. I think it definitely vindicates my internal thought process, which is I think I'm pretty good at hills. Maybe that's why I did so well at Loch Ness. I get a hill and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going for it. I'm not stopping for anything. And that is literally bottom to top. I didn't stop. On the way round, I had 3 gels, probably needed 4. I took 3 because I was thinking, well, I'm only going to be taking it easy anyway. I had a 80-gram carb drink mix, which I drank most of it before I came out, and then the rest of it was in my bottle. Let's have a look at the best efforts, just out of curiosity. I did pick up the pace at the end, so in fact, actually, we'll come back to the best efforts. Let's just have a look at the last few laps. You can see here, once I got around kilometer 30, I did have a little bit of a pickup here, and it was kind of bit of nice undulating up and down running, and then you can see by the end I was like, oh, I'm dead. Really dead. Very, very wet, very, very soggy. Best efforts, fastest kilometre 4:16, that's just a fraction over sub 3 pace. Fastest mile, old school, 7 minutes. Half marathon 1:39. I mean, gotta hold perspective here. Many people would be over the moon to run a 1:39 half marathon on the flat, on rested legs. These were at the end of a tiring training week. I'd done 90 kilometers going into my run yesterday. So yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with that. I think this all leaves me in a really, really solid position. And so that's week 7 done. I've got week 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 weeks. Realistically, I'll start my taper 2 weeks from the end, so there's 3 hard weeks of work. I feel really happy with where I'm at. Really, really happy. I feel very, very confident that I will put in a decent run in Valencia. Obviously, touch wood, assume that everything goes well. I think I've got every chance of going for 240. Unless something goes dramatically wrong, sub 3 should be an absolute shoo-in. Sub 3 is now feeling like that should be pretty easy. 245 I think would be pretty comfortable. So I've just got to keep on going over these next few weeks. I've done 127, as I said, so far now this week. Aim would be to get another at least 10 kilometers. Be nice to get up to 140. So that would be 13 kilometers. Anecdotally, I think if I wanted to do my highest volume week ever, I think I'd need to get to 145. It's tempting, but there's another couple of weeks we can do that. So at this point in the training, it is about just not fucking it up. It's about listening to my body, recovering well, fueling well. Yesterday I ate like a horse. I am eating the same breakfasts most days, big bowl of porridge with frozen cherries and raspberries, protein powder, milk, having the same lunch, jacket potato, baked beans, egg, bit of ham. Dinner is kind of a variable feast, but yeah, I'm eating lots, I'm snacking lots, I'm recovering as much as I can, using every kind of recovery tool that I have. I feel excited. I really do. I really feel excited about getting to Spain and just giving this an absolute go. The funny thing about Valencia is that, well, last year there were 5,000 sub 3 hour marathon finishes. So there's gonna be a vibe. There will probably be 1,000 people that are going to be going for 2:40. So, you know, this isn't like I'm going to be out there running on my own like some kind of shithouse parochial English marathon. I'm not going to name any of them, but this is a marathon for people that want to run fast. So I'm going to have every chance to do that. And I think we'll call it there. We're going to call this one a day. Tomorrow night, there will be another episode of Monday Night Live, 7:30. We had some great conversation last week. We talked a lot about hills, and I think that's probably what got me going for the hill session yesterday. Next weekend, it will definitely be some solid marathon pace efforts, and I'm excited. I'll get the Alpha Flies back out. I haven't worn those for 2 or 3 weeks now. I've been just doing everything in my New Balance, which have come to the end of their days. One of my jobs for today is I need to order a couple of pairs of running shoes. So I think I've got authorization from Laura for that. By the time that she watches this, when you watch this, it will already be done. So thank you and love you and sorry. Guys, don't forget, like and subscribe. Do come and find me over on Instagram. Follow me on Strava. Everything that I do is there for you to analyze. You can go through it in the finest of detail if that is the kind of person that you are. And I will look forward to seeing you at the end of week 8. I will look forward to seeing you at Monday Night Live and across the social channels. Have a fantastic week. Do drop me a comment. Let me know how you're getting on with your training. Looking forward to seeing you in Valencia. Peace out.